Hello everybody, and hopefully not nobody. I'm Joseph, and...
What are you doing?
3D World?
Yes! I think this might be the game I've spent the most time playing in my free time. At least for platformers, because I've been playing Mario Kart 8 for the past 10 years. And there's a good reason for that. Because all the levels in Super Mario 3D World feel so good to replay. I love it so much that just about every year I go for a 100% save file just because I can. There are so many people that think Pac-Man World 2 is my favorite platformer, but no, it's this game. So what version do you want to do?
Obviously the Switch one. It's got zoomies.
Okay, I get that, but now some of the jumps are harder because of that faster movement.
They give you the dive explicitly to compensate for that.
Fine, but I still hate that they got rid of the X next to the lives. This game first released on the Wii U, but then 8 years later, they ported it to the Switch. And they changed a couple things about it. First, and I think most importantly, they made everyone faster. And it's not like it's this minuscule amount. No, everyone is this good amount faster. And it's by such a large amount that you have to correct how far you jump every time. And they did add a new move to fix it. It's a mid-air dive. I love this dive, because unless you had a power-up to course correct your jumps, you had to have a lot of faith that your jump would make it. Now going back to the movement speed changes, I don't think they were too necessary. Most of the levels in this game are pretty compact, and we're playing for the current movement speeds of every character. So making everyone go at supersonic speeds felt really awkward. Like in almost every level, there will be a flagpole you'll need to grab a hold of. And there's this staircase leading up to it. But with the remake, they keep the staircase length the same. So now you're landing near the end of the platforms in one jump. Then, there are some minor changes they made, like how there isn't an X near the life icons. They changed some of the icons for a couple of the menus. The stamps you unlock are now colored, and because Miiverse is discontinued, you can now place those stamps in the levels and take screenshots with them. They added online play, which is nice, but I never used it. There is now 4 save files instead of 3, which I like, so now I don't have to delete more save files to play through the whole game again. And I think one of the most important minor changes they made is that now every collectible you grab is kept after you died. Most of these aren't anything that change the core experience of the game, just minor tweaks that make it feel better. Again, the only thing I didn't love is the movement speed changes, but it isn't a deal breaker for me, just a little quirk. My favorite part! I was watching that. This game isn't one that has a huge story to it, but it's just Mario and friends taking a stroll across a Mushroom Kingdom. Then they find a warp pipe, but it's clear and damaged. So the Mario brothers fix the pipe, which I love that it shows that they still do some sort of plumbing, but then all these power-ups burst out of the pipe. Then one of the Sprixie princesses rushes out and asks them for help because guess who? Bowser traps all of them into jars. In the middle of her talking, Bowser comes out of the clear pipe and traps the final one into a jar. So now we have to save all of them. Again, it's a pretty basic story. We don't even know why Bowser is taking all the Sprixie princesses. They could have a power that Bowser wants, or he could just be doing that to take over the land. We don't know. Hey, so I know that you know how to speedrun this game, but let's play it the way the developers wanted to.
Fine.
What did I just tell you? This is one of the best controlling games I've played. First off, there are the basic moves like running and jumping, which the only problem I have with that is that there's a second stage to running, but it takes a moment for you to build up that speed. And it's not like it's this gradual thing. No, it's more like you move for a couple seconds, then BAM! You're at your top speed. This makes it so for me at least, I'll be running in circles for a bit, just to make sure I don't get the boost when it's dangerous. There is a couple of moves you can use to go faster. First, there is a roll, which is pretty useless, unless you press the jump button in the middle of the roll, which is called the rolling long jump. Also, there is a normal long jump. It's just a longer jump. Nothing crazy. Then, with jumping, there are some special moves you can use in order to achieve greater heights. There is a spin jump, a crouching jump, a ground pound jump, and a side somersault. Most of these feel the same to me. It's just wait a few seconds to get the action, and now you jump higher. As mentioned before, they added a mid-air roll, which is a lifesaver, because if you have problems with the jump, you can correct it. Almost all of these moves feel great. The only one I wish was better is a long jump, but I don't think any Mario game has lived up to the power the long jump had in Super Mario 64. But to be fair, it felt pretty overpowered there.
Why are you doing that? We both know this game really well. Do you think we're gonna get a game over or something?
Mayhaps. Could go for a bit of insurance, though.
An extra 1,000 lives of insurance?
They called back to Super Mario Bros. 2 USA, with every character having their unique traits from that game. Mario is a basic all-rounder type, Luigi can jump higher and does his weird little scuttle to cover more ground, but in return, he has low traction, so he takes a while to get up to speed and to stop. Peach can float in the air for a few seconds, but can't move fast. Now Toad! He's the fastest, but apparently he never practiced his jumps, so he's awful at that. Now, out of all those characters, Luigi's my favorite. I think it might be the fact that out of the main 4 Mario characters, Luigi has always been my favorite. So, I've been trained on how to play with ice physics. Mario felt too basic for me, Peach could never go fast enough, and with Toad, he's way too nimble. And every mistake I could make, he would do. But it's not like I'm completely opposed to playing anyone besides Luigi. No, they're all close enough, that's more of a preference. And I like how unlike the new Super Mario Bros. Series, they're all unique. But it kinda sucks because there isn't any point in the levels where you'll need to use the special powers of each character. In maybe like a total of 8 levels, there'll be a special button where you'll have to hit it with one of the characters. But it's just a button. Any one of them could have done it. But no, you have to hit the Toad button with Toad. Also, every level feels like it's meant to be played with Mario, so if you play as someone else, it's a bit more cumbersome.
Alright, as long as only one person does this jump, we'll get the green star.
You can do it. I'm gonna mess it up. I wanna do it!
Don't do it.
But I really wanna do it!
Don't.
See? I didn't do it!
You can do a couple of multiplayer moves, but there aren't anything crazy. First, you can enter a bubble, which it'll automatically activate when you go too far off screen from someone else, or you can press L and R to go into it manually, then it will slowly approach someone that can pop you out. It's really meant for people to have a chance to catch up with someone who decides the game is a speedrun or something, but the problem with it is that it feels so slow. So if the person really wants to speedrun, they won't pop you, or if they do, you can go back into one a few seconds later. Then you can pick up and throw others. To me at least, there isn't a peaceful meaning on why you would do that. It's meant to create chaos. The only real problem I had with it is that it's tied to the run button. So if you try to run next to someone, there's a good chance you'll be picking them up. Finally, there's a synchronized ground pound where it does clear out enemies. There wasn't any point where I'm like, we need to do one or else. And you have to be in sync with the other person. So who really cares about that ability? Overall, the special multiplayer moves aren't anything too cool.
I can't believe it. We're almost done with this game. It was a really fun time though, even though it was short. Now we just have to defeat Bowser in his sick whip.
Oh, you're stuck with me for another 8 hours.
During the release for this game, it was the year of Luigi. You know, a really bad year for Nintendo. But to coincide with that, they added some Luigi Easter eggs in about every level. It will have an 8-bit version of him doing something. Some of those Easter eggs are actually hidden, but then some, I don't know how you would miss something like that. Then after you beat the game, you unlock Luigi Bros. It's just a reskin version of Mario Bros. Kinda cute. And on the Wii U version, if you have a new Super Luigi save file, you unlock that for free. I mean, it's not for free, because the game costs like $20, but you get it early. These Luigi things are pretty pointless, and this game doesn't feel like something that was meant to be a year of Luigi release. The game was probably close to being done, and then someone had a good idea to modify some things to make it a year of Luigi release.
Oh no! We have to use touch controls without a touchscreen!
Just use the gamepad.
Game originally released on the Wii U, they gave the gamepad the powers of a god. You can tap enemies and sub-objects for a moment to freeze them. Most of the time, freezing some enemies make it so I messed up where I was gonna land on them. Then you can blow on the mic to reveal hidden blocks. These features are so unnecessary. Whenever I was playing by myself, I never used it. Part of it is because I can't seem to multitask with them, but also the benefits they give are so minor. But to try to make the purchase of a Wii U even better, they made special levels that you need a gamepad for. And these levels are the most gimmick levels I've seen. And this game is mainly just gimmick levels. It's like, oh no, I need to tap something with the Wii U gamepad to activate it, or I need to blow on the mic to move something. It's not really that fun. And throughout the majority of the game, you can use whatever controller you want to. But with a couple of the gamepad levels, you need that gamepad. So if it's dead, or if you lost something, tough luck. But in the Switch remake, they changed it a little. First, because the Switch doesn't have a microphone, they made the moving platforms that you need to blow with just ones that move on its own. But with the touchscreen controls, if you're playing in handheld mode, tap things with the Switch screen. But if you have it docked, you use gyro controls to control a cursor. This makes it so the game isn't stuck on the Wii U, but I still don't like using gyro controls to control that cursor.
Oh no! Where's the green star? I can't find it! Oh, maybe that button can help find it.
What button?
Because this game is full of ideas, to spice up parts of the levels, they created mystery boxes where there's a quick 10-second challenge you have to do. It could be something like grabbing a green star with some obstacles getting in the way. It's cool because these obstacles are related to the level's main gimmick. Or it could be a little gauntlet where you have to defeat some enemies. Most of these challenges aren't hard, but it's a nice little thing to break up these levels. In every couple of worlds, there'll be a whole mystery box level, where you'll need to do more of these small challenges to grab some green stars. Each mystery box level has a theme to it, like rushing through some small platforming challenges, throwing some baseballs at some things. One is based on the Katsu power-up, and some are just more of the gauntlets of enemies. Something cute they did with the gauntlets of enemies is that they named it after Super Smash Bros. Melee and Brawl.
Now, obviously, after we defeated Bowser, we've got to fight a harder boss, right?
No.
Now, most of the levels you can take at your own pace, but then they made a couple auto-scroll levels, which I hate them because they're all too slow. There are a couple that are forced auto-scrolls which lock the camera and you have to wait for the level to do its thing. Then there are some that have a moving platform you have to wait for, and those you can find ways to skip parts. That's something I love about this game. There are so many random skips you can create, and there's enough movement where if you can't skip it, you can at least do it fast. But who in their right mind thinks auto-scrolls are the correct things to do?
Hey now, what did I tell you about doing speedrun skips?
Let's just make the level go by way faster.
See, the game doesn't even want you to do that.
You sure?
This game to me feels like a 2D game with some depth to it, and the camera here emphasizes it. It's always set to this view that shows you everything you need to see and will track a player almost without fault. The problem here is when the camera has to do anything besides that. There are a couple of levels where the developers experimented a little too hard, and now the camera is hiding a really important item you're missing. And whenever there's a second person, the camera tries to correct any discrepancies. So it will start zooming out when you're too far away, but once it deems it's too far, it'll start focusing back on one person that is further along in the level. But who it regards as being further along is inconsistent, because there'll be points where someone will try to do a skip and the camera's like, nah, that path doesn't exist. Instead, let's give it to the person that's just about to die. They should have the camera and show the whole world the blunder they just made. Technically, there is camera control, but it's more of a gesture than anything. You can change it to another fixed angle in each direction, but there are points where you can't do that. It's not like you need to alter the camera in any way, because it does a pretty good job at it. There are only a few times where it struggled.
Come here often?
In just about every level, there'll be 3 green stars. It's just a basic collectible that's needed to unlock a couple of levels. Most of those unlockables are at the end of a world, but then some of them are in a split path. After that, they don't really have a purpose outside of that. But collecting them are pretty fun. Most of the time, they'll either be in a hard to find area, but easy to grab once you found it, or out in the open, where you have to do a little challenge to collect it. Additionally, there are a couple of special levels that shower you in green stars, but they are a bit more difficult than the main platforming levels.
Who's gonna have the camera here?
Me, I'll have it.
You should not have the camera.
Fine.
One of these types of level missions are with Captain Toad. You get put in this diorama, and now you have to collect 5 green stars to beat it. But the problem is that Captain Toad has such a heavy backpack that he can't jump. This makes it more of a puzzle level than a platforming challenge. Originally, on the Wii U, this was a single player experience that you had to use a gamepad to activate blocks or raise or lower platforms. Now, with the Switch remake, everyone can join in and use gyro controls to activate things. It doesn't really feel right having 4 people do it at the same time because there's only one camera. So inevitably, someone's going to be unable to see something and just have to guess where they're going. Or someone will decide it's really funny to mess up the whole camera and move it in the most inconvenient spot possible.
I can't wait to see what world we're gonna do next.
Ah! A level!
This game thrives so much on creating new ideas and gimmicks at every level, there's only a couple of levels that feel the same as another one. This makes it hard to focus on a certain overarching theme, but it never gets boring because you never know what's going to happen next. This also means that some ideas will be continued on another level, but that might not happen.
How many clones do you think you can make it down the slide?
Probably all of them. See, I only lost one.
You only had one.
I think this game's soundtrack is one of the best Mario soundtracks I've listened to. At least for the mainline platformers. Sure, Super Mario Galaxy is more atmospheric, but this one has a kind of style that's so high energy that anything you'll be doing is a blast. It's kind of sad that this soundtrack isn't as iconic as something like Super Mario 64, but there are way more tracks in this than Mario 64, and the levels are way shorter, so you won't get as annoyed with these songs repeating themselves as much.
Let's go take up this Firebrow's hideout and see what they're hiding.
Wow, that was really easy. Now let's see what they're really hiding.
Great, just a PNG of a fairy.
The second kind of collectible are the stamps. They're just an image of some object in the game. There's only one of them in a level, but these seem to miss out on more levels than the stars. For some reason, I think that they're cooler and lamer than the stars at the exact same time. First, they don't really serve a gameplay purpose, unlike how the green stars can unlock levels. No, these are just art. In the Wii U version, they let you create a collage of them to post to Miiverse. But in the remake, they're colored, and now you can paste them around a level only when you're in snapshot mode. I personally preferred how the Wii U did it, because you could create something weird or really funny with them. But now, it looks like you're just coloring on walls.
Why would you grab a Tanuki suit when a cat suit's right there?
Because I prefer having a jump corrector over the faster movement. Also, I feel like Luigi needs it.
Whatever.
This game, I think, has the best selection of power-ups ever. First, there are the mainstays, the mushroom, the fire flower, and the star. They all work how they do in the 2D games. No having a timer for the fire flower like in Super Mario Galaxy. Then, they brought some items from other games, like the boomerang flower and the super leaf from Super Mario 3D Land. The boomerang flower lets you throw out one boomerang and then it'll come back. The thing it does better than the fire flower is that the boomerang can collect items and it doesn't break after one enemy. The super leaf lets you hover in the air for a short moment, and you gain an attack with your tail. They also added the mega mushroom from New Super Mario Bros. DS. It's the most gimmick power-up ever. You grow big, and now you destroy everything in your way. Then, they added 2 new power-ups. First, there's a double cherry. All it does is duplicate yourself. You even keep the previous power you just had, so now you can throw a stupid amount of fireballs. But, if you get hit, instead of you losing your current power-up state, a clone of you gets destroyed. I think this one is really cool, but trying to control 5 things at the same time and making sure they aren't running off ledges or anything is really hard. The main power-up of the game is the Super Bell. It turns you into a cat. This allows you to climb up walls and the flagpole. You also gain an attack where you can scratch at enemies, and you can do a dive in midair to fall faster. An amazing tech you can do with it is right before you land, you can cancel the dive, and now the momentum you get from the dive is stored. So you can combo that together to go exceedingly quick in the level. I felt like almost all the power-ups had a purpose outside of when it was needed. The only 2 I would begrudgingly grab were the Mega Mushroom and the Boomerang Flower. First, the Mega Mushroom took away your current power-up, and it had a timer to it. So, I kinda just avoided it. Then, the Boomerang Flower had advantages that weren't much better than the Fire Flower. It's not as bad as something like the Spring Mushroom in Super Mario Galaxy, but every other one was way better than those 2.
tube. The Coin Express?
We gotta make sure we grab all of these because we're running really low on lives right now.
Yeah, you're right. With all of our 2 crowns out here.
Oh, it's tiny slots to get extra coins here.
Okay, got it.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. That's not what I meant.
I thought you wanted me to hit 3 of them.
The developers thought it would be cute to create some secrets in the world map. First, every once in a while, there'll be a slot machine that'll pop up for you to score more lives. But you have to match those symbols together to win bigger. And there are mushroom houses where you'll get a haul of power-ups. The mushroom houses will have you pick between 2 boxes, or they'll randomly either have 1 mushroom or a set of 4 random power-ups. These 2 are really meant for if you're having a hard time, but I wasn't, so I didn't need it. Also, in each level, it'll give you the power-up you'll need. Then, there'll be some rubble in parts of the map where when you'll interact with it, it will only take you to something higher up, where you can see more of that world, and maybe get a 1-up from it. In a few instances, it could be something big, like the Coin Express, where it gives you something smaller to do, but there isn't really a big incentive to go anywhere besides the actual levels.
How are you this bad at going through clear pipes?
I swear I'm holding the correct direction.
Another recurring gimmick are the clear pipes. They're pretty special in a way. First, they're clear. I know, I would have never guessed that. The main thing that sets them apart is that there are some split paths and you can choose what direction to go in. The problem with the split paths are that sometimes it's hard to control which way you want to go to. Then there are some automated sequences where you can choose to take a slight detour, but it doesn't really matter. You might just get like 5 coins out of it. The way you go into the automated sequences is by going through a clear cannon launcher. A cool thing about them is that because it shows you the whole path, there are times where you can skip going into the launcher and walk onto it yourself.
I can't believe it. We're almost done. We just have to fight Bowser 1 more time.
Really? We're fighting him in his car again? Why don't we actually beat him up instead of throwing explosive soccer balls at his car?
We did it! Thank you for coming with me on this amazing adventure.
Yeah, I'll leave you be to go watch those credits now.
There's more?!
Most of the bosses I've faced have been pretty easy, just a standard jump on their head 3 times. The most basic one out of all of these is Boom Boom. You just jump on his head, not even wait for his attack to end. Then he'll go into his shell, and now you have to wait to repeat that. And you get to fight him 3 times. Sure, he does change it up a little, but still, it doesn't really change what you need to do with him. Then there's Pom Pom, where she'll create some clones, and now you have to find which one is a real one and attack it. Also, really easy. Then they got creative and made some more interesting bosses. There's King Kathunk, where he'll try to flatten you, but doing that makes his back exposed. It's almost something similar to King Womp from Super Mario 64, but this one feels more interesting than him. Then there's one against a big lava ball, where you'll need to throw other boulders at it. A neat skip you can do with this one is after you attack it, it'll start going into this frenzy and destroy more of the smaller boulders. But you can hold onto them and defeat it faster. They also made a couple of mini bosses. First, there's one that has you defeating a crew of those smaller boulders. Then you get to fight a Prince Bully where you knock it into a clear pipe to actually deal damage to it. There's also a jester called Monthly Boss Blob where he'll grow big and then after doing some ground pounds, he slips back into his normal form and you attack him. Finally, there's the Histocrats where you're supposed to grab a catsuit to climb onto the smaller Histocrats in order to jump on the main one. But you can cheese this by doing a ground pound jump next to the main one to defeat it. The only exception to this 3-hit rule is Bowser, where for some reason you're chasing him down in his car and then swiping soccer balls back at him. I don't really know why Bowser would have soccer balls, but okay, sure. I didn't really hate any of these bosses, but they're also not the pinnacle of boss design.
Bowser Land.
You know, it doesn't actually look too scary. It looks kind of fun.
Yeah, you're right. Think they got tickets here?
Probably not.
This game doesn't have a huge overarching theme like Super Mario Galaxy's space theme or Super Mario Sunshine's vacation vibe. The only one I think it has is Circus, but it's also like saying that its theme is grass. There are a couple levels that have a circus theme. Then, in every world, there'll be a theme to it, like how World 1 is grass, World 2 is desert, and World 4 is desert, but orange. This game doesn't force every level in each world to match its theme, which is nice because I don't want to slog through every desert world in a row just for 2 worlds later to play every other desert world, but it doesn't help with making a clear identity for this game.
Come here, Bowser. Show yourself.
Oh no, he's a furry.
We did it! We finally defeated Bowser!
Can you just stay dead for once?
Okay, that's gotta be it. Look how big that PAL block was.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can come back after being turned into fireworks.
Even though it sounds like I hate this game based off of what I said, I think it's one of my favorite games of all time. All these points are just small nitpicks, nothing that stops me from loving it. And even though this game doesn't have a big theme or story to it, watching the credits makes it feel like you've achieved something big.
Now that it's finally over, what did you think of this game?
I think it's pretty good. It's got some great furry representation in it.
Will this game ever end?
Fun fact, there is now a whole post-game after you defeat Bowser. I know! So much fun!
Ooh, look at the background. It's the Comet Observatory.
Yeah, it's from the game that I hate.
What's wrong with Mario Galaxy?
Mario, he's just too slow, and I hate the movement.
Well, at least you can now play as Rosalina.
When you beat the second level in World Star, you unlock Rosalina. She is tied to being the slowest with Peach, and she's really floaty. But she gets a spin attack from Super Mario Galaxy. But this game isn't centered around having a spin attack, so it's pretty useless. And you lose that power if you grab a power-up. So she might be a little bit better than the main crew if you don't have a power-up.
Okay, obviously I did everything this level. I should be getting that crown. Oh,
No.
but you didn't do anything.
I had the crown.
I think the thing that makes this an amazing multiplayer experience is that after the end of every level, there will be a tally to see who did the most. It's all based on the score you'll get. So if you decided to grab every single green star and the stamp, you'll be rewarded for it. Then, the higher you get on the flagpole, you'll get a hefty amount of points from that. After the tally is finished, you get rewarded with a crown. The only thing this crown does is that if you finish a level with it, you get more points. This means that if you keep the crown, there's a good chance you'll get it again, but you can't be doing nothing because the stars and stamps could be enough for you to lose it. Others can steal the crown from you though. If they ground pound you, or if you take damage, you drop it, and others can pick it up. So this makes it so it feels like it's a free-for-all for grabbing points. I think that is an amazing way to keep points relevant for Mario, because every other game, who cares about points?
Okay, on to Mushroom Dash 1.
Wait a second. This level seems really familiar.
Yeah, I think it's just a modified 2-4.
The final 2 worlds of this game remix some of the levels in the main game. They also make them harder and shorter than the rest. It's nothing crazy, but I'm not gonna complain for more levels.
Okay, there can't be anything after this boss rush. This has to be it. developers not get tired of this?
After you grab every green star, every stamp, and get the top of every flagpole, you go on to World Crown. And it has some of the hardest levels in the game.
You ready to take on Champions Road?
Yeah. You want to smuggle some power-ups though? It would make it easier.
I never smuggle power-ups in Champions Road.
You sure?
Yeah, I'll be fine.
We finally did it! But why are there some missing stamps?
Well, you need to beat every level with every character to get those.
Will this game ever end?